OF girl realizes she'll never get a traditional husband. This ought to be interesting.
Should be good.
So, in your opinion, would you date an OF girl?
No.
Why?
No. Nah, I wouldn't want to be with somebody who's like out there for the world. Like everyone's kind of seeing already what she has to offer. So for me, I'm more of I like privacy. You know what I mean?
Okay, because it's already out. Like, oh, I already know what you're working with.
But to each his own, though. Each his own.
I guess. No, I was kidding. Yeah, shit. Yeah, okay.
Well, like the husband is expected to give like 70% of the income, and you work like part-time or 3/4 of the time. I'm not sure what your workload is. Or maybe you give 60% of the income. That means other areas have to flex to kind of accommodate that, right? And so I think the important question that men have to ask when they're going into a relationship is going like, well, what am I offering and what are the type of women that I'm interested in looking for? And as a woman, you have to go, well, what am I willing to offer? And which men are interested in looking for those things, right? Because I would agree most like more conservative, super trad men, they're not as interested in like the woman's income. Most trad men are pretty open to being like 60 to 70% of the income. But what they look for in exchange would be like higher domestic labor. So like they do the income labor, woman does maybe higher domestic labor. If she's still working, it has to be back and forth.
I don't even think liberal men care about women's income.
Well, I would just disagree.
So for you, who you want her to have, I'd say, a job for sure, and then kind of go up from there.
I would like her to have something. Yeah, it's kind of like even if it's like I'm the breadwinner, right? I would like at least for a woman to be passionate about something, like like she's an entrepreneur, she had her own business, something like that. Because I've noticed like when you don't have anything going on is where a lot of times you can kind of fall into like stuff, you know what I mean? Like you don't feel good about yourself. Like for men, we want to accomplish stuff, right? We want to, provide, accomplish all those things. But I feel like when you're not contributing in some way or doing something that's going to benefit you and everyone else around you, then it's kind of easy to kind of be more selfish in a way.
I understand.
I guess. Yeah.
So you don't want her to do half and half, like a house or the bills and all that.
I mean, that would be nice. Don't get me wrong. Like half and half for sure. I also want us both contributing in our own way.
Okay.
If that's even like, because I mean, sometimes you're not gonna have it, bro. Sometimes like life happens, things happen, and financially we got to come together and like, how are we gonna figure this out? But also, I think having your own too is good as well. So I know it's kind of contradictory, but
no, that's good. So I would say for me, I want at least half and half because it's like you're gonna sit home and do nothing. Nah.
True.
But for her, I'm sure she probably makes stacks on OF, all that, the extra stuff. Cool. But it's like, what else are you about to do? Because when that stuff stops,
right,
and you're like all old and stuff, it's like,
yeah,
bruh, or you have kids and all this stuff.
Oh man, yeah, dude, you got kids. Like, I heard something about a OF girl. She was, posting stuff and like her kids getting teased at school and stuff. Oh yeah, like that.
Okay.
That's you don't think about that kind of stuff, man. That's kind of,
it's all about the money, getting that stacks.
It's traumatic, bro. It's like dudes are like showing you videos of your mom like doing stuff, and
it's like you came out of that. That's crazy. Oh shit,
it's wild.
The economy. Like the reality is very few men can provide for a family on one economy. Some men are like super blessed.
What I'm saying is though, I understand the arguments of like, okay, economically speaking, you need a 2-income household. That's just the economic reality for most couples. What I'm saying is that men it's not going to make men more attracted to women. They'll do it out of economic necessity, but not like, oh, she's a high earner, I'm more attracted to her.
I agree.
It could be like a nice positive, for example, for a liberal guy, but I don't even think liberal men are going to be like, oh, she's more attractive because she's a high earner.
I agree. What I'm talking about is once you're in the relationship, these exchanges are going on. I think it's a disservice. So what happens when I listen to...
So right here, who would you...
Who would I?
You date? Yeah, at the table.
Man.
Or you don't date girls who are white?
No, I've dated white girls before.
Okay.
Yeah, I was born in the San Diego area. Yeah, it's all good. Let me see. Man, I'm trying to go for like who's the most modest looking right now.
Yeah, so her on the right. Nah.
Yeah,
Because of her neck.
with the neck tat. Looks like dragon scales on her neck. It's
Shit.
maybe the tiger. Man, I mean,
Oh, the tiger?
I'm digging the bangs a little bit.
Oh,
Yeah,
shit.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Bangs and bangs.
Yeah, you have them?
a little bit.
It's cute.
I mean, it's not like crazy, but I haven't heard her speak though, so it's kind of
Okay.
yeah, you know what I mean. So yeah,
the feminists and like man spheres fight with each other is women really ignore the income labor that men often do. They're just kind of like it's like a self-assumed thing that men are bringing to the table, and then men will often ignore as well the economic labor that women are bringing in, and which is why I've listed multiple facets, because I agree men aren't like looking at women who are making like $100,000 and being like, ooh, baby, right? They're being like, damn, she's hot. Right. And like she makes me feel good when I'm with her. That's more or less what most people are doing. But once you get into the relationship, part of the exchange, if we're all being honest with each other, has to be like, who's bringing the income, where and how much, and how do we balance out the other areas? And most people say the man should be bringing in higher income. And typically one of the partners is also doing higher emotional labor to like make the relationship work.
What is emotional labor?
It depends on the couple,
What
right?
is that?
So say, for example, you've got one partner that comes in with like a lot of
emotional labor. Never heard that one.
I do think it's the whoever's there not trying to do so much to be like, oh, I want to get flowers, you know, all the extra stuff for what that, you know, the other spouse or whoever is not. It's not all in all. It's not equal.
Oh, okay.
You know, it's like, oh, I work, I'm gonna go home and sleep, and then you have whoever who's like, oh, I want to spend time with you, and then they have to, So but I think
part of it, I think, isn't it kind of like having, I think both parties having emotional intelligence, right? Enough.
You hope.
You would hope, right? And which, I mean, yeah, because you definitely don't want to be the only person like who's like pulling, feeling like they're dragging the other person.
Exactly.
Kind of thing.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
it's like, you don't text me back. You know, all that. You don't. Shut up. It's good. That's crazy.
a lot of emotional baggage.
Sure.
So I'm going to use a man I'll use a woman for an example first, because I think people would find them more appealing, and then I can use a man. For a woman, maybe she like had a messy childhood. So she's a little bit anxious. She's more depressed. So she needs to be comforted more often.
Or you could just not date her. That's also an option.
Yeah, but that's not what we're talking. We're talking about like what would be the emotional labor. In the case of a man having lots of baggage, he might have lots of anger issues.
Yeah.
He might kind of stonewall and not communicate, right? So then the woman might have higher emotional labor to make the relationship work, because you have to be able to talk to each other and emotionally relate to one another.
Jay, it sounds like you maybe wanted
Do
to
you
comment
do
on
the
some
emotional
stuff.
baggage in y'all's relationship? I'm just curious. Like
Like,
are
are
you
you
the one
asking-
that covers the emotional baggage?
I would say my husband is much more emotionally like solid than I am. I definitely like have a lot more baggage from my childhood.
I'm curious. I want to ask, if you don't mind, like, would you rather be in a situation where if you had an option of a dude who you liked and he made a lot of money, would you choose that if you had to be a homemaker versus your own career and out there like having to do your own thing and all that? Which would you prefer?
Naturally, I am very submissive, and I already do those things for fun. I like have fun cleaning and cooking, so it's something that I don't look traditional, so it's.
But if you had a choice, which one would you prefer?
I would go with letting the man lead me and with the money, you know,
Right.
and I would take on the responsibility of cleaning and cooking for the home and having the baby.
So that would be a better life for you than like
Yeah.
trying to fend for yourself
I have
in
to
LA.
admit it.
Okay. What
Yeah.
about
I think that right there, because it's going to sound bad, it's easier to do that. Because, okay, let's just say that at a job, it is easier to be told what to do.
This is true.
So, I've seen this. You get paid more to lead than to follow.
I look at it as like if you're an entrepreneur, you know, like you're saying, like if you have a manager, or supervisor, or boss who you're under, and they're, you know, delegating and telling you what to do and stuff like that, versus when you're the person in lead, now you gotta all these situation things that you didn't know that you were gonna have, you have to figure them out. You know, so it does seem like, from what you're saying, does seem easier, you know, from that perspective.
But I hate cleaning though. Nah. Anyways, all right, bro. But kid though, to have a kid, us. Do you think men could withstand all the pain and all of the stuff being not where they're supposed to be? Like, there's space now.
Yeah.
That is being, or there's, so yeah. There is something growing in your stomach.
Yeah.
Your stomach, in the area where stuff is being pushed around. Like, your organs aren't in the spot where they're supposed to be.
True. Yeah, that's I can't even imagine like going through something like that, man. That's tough, bro. And then, you know, the whole birthing process, and jeez, that's a whole different set of pain. I wouldn't even want to.
Epidural.
Yeah.
Cooked.
Yeah. I mean, from my perspective, I feel like men can like take on a lot of pain, but that's a whole different.
But what kind of pain?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's a whole different ball game right there. And I just, you know, hey, I applaud him, bro, because I know
You guys are awesome.
I'm not doing it.
You would not
Drug me up.
I can't feel nothing good. Shit.
Oh man.
About you, would you prefer that or not?
What, being like barefoot and pregnant and taken care of?
If the option of a guy who has a lot of money that you like, you genuinely are like, he's not a butthole, right? Or like you're a career woman doing your own thing and you have like a person that meets you halfway, which would you prefer?
Can I just use my relationship? Because that's obviously who I picked. When I got into the relationship, my husband hadn't graduated high school, didn't have a job. I was already high income earning and had the greatest income prospects. But for me, I learned pretty early to really prioritize like surface stuff. I really wanted a man of character. Like that was the most important thing to me, is a man of high integrity and character, which I would say I got. Like Nick's genuinely amazing person. So for me, but I'm not saying that that's the typical woman experience. Like I recognize that I was very career motivated. And so in my mind, I did a mental calculus of going, that means I need to scale back the money expectations because he's got to make a lot of trade-offs that aren't traditional for me. So I can't ask for the same traditional exchange. I did that when I was like 22. I just made that mental swap.
Damn.
But most women probably don't want to do that.
I wanted to go back to you for a second. Yeah. You lean more traditional, more submissive.
Do what?
They completely just skipped over the chick who was just talking. He's like, yeah. And then I want to ask you.
He's like, you're
girl with the dragon tattoos. I want to ask you.
Dragon tattoo. Oh shit. But yeah, he's like, you're not as. Yeah, no, I'm just gonna stop there.
But you're
Yeah. Shit. Oh, he's squinting, man.
Oh yeah, no.
Full stat.
Appearances might throw people off. So when it is when you are searching for a man, what else are you going to have to do you think to attract? Because you might attract not that, right? I mean, is it fair to say you might attract not that?
Yes, it is fair to say that. But when I date, I kind of go off of the first approach, like how they treat me, and I don't really have a specific thing that I look for. I mean, I'm sorry, can you repeat the question?
It was like you lean more into traditionalism, submissive, so that it might be the case that the man you're actually looking for is actually traditional. But if your appearance can throw people off, I was wondering, what do you do to find the traditional if the appearance might throw them off?
I don't necessarily look for what a man can offer me. It's compatibility, like how does he make me feel? If he has all of that stuff, that's great, that's fine. But if it's a struggle together, that's what we have to do. Does that make sense?
No.
What?
No, that makes sense. What she saying? Wait, so just so I understand, they're asking her basically with her appearance, like one or more of a traditional man, the appearance that she has, it doesn't really scream traditional, really. And would that be off-putting to the man? Is that what I'm understanding?
I think so. But like for us men, of course, first we're like, oh, that she has her, she looks a certain way. But I think for most men will go up to her and talk to her. Of course, she'll be like, oh, she's had a hard life. She likes certain things. Like, yeah, her arm. Yeah, each arm she has sleeves.
All tatted, so yeah.
She might have stuff, all over, all that stuff. Cool, but you have to go speak to them, and it all depends for the man if they see that as okay.
But ironically, though, like she is dressed very modestly. She's not like showing off anything crazy, anything like that. So I kind of do believe like what she's saying. Not saying she's lying or anything, but I mean, she kind of shows to me at least she's going that what she's talking when she's walking,
Yeah.
Basically. But yeah, I mean, initially just approaching a man is really it's the biggest thing, bro.
It's not hard. You just have to go do it. Hey, how's it going? And then they just leave. You go, oh shit. Oh shit.
Yeah.
Next.
Again, cross that off the list.
Oh shit. Then you had a list?
A list, man. Yeah.
Oh shit.
Daily rejections. I do like I call it my rejection projection. How many times I'm gonna get rejected within a day? And I'm like, I gotta at least get 10. So if I go through 10, cool. If I don't get 10, then it's like I'm not trying hard enough to get out there.
Shit, you're on the hunt?
Hey man. No.
See, I've seen it. Yes, it's harder because I do have a speech problem, but it's all about the intent.
Ah, okay.
If you're like, oh, I'm going to get that. And then something, oh no, I have a boyfriend or, all this kind of stuff. You're like, and you go, I'm like, no, like, so if you don't have the intent, oh, hey, well, you have the awesome, arms, right?
Tattoo. Yeah. I would ask
oh, wow, super guys. I do that every day.
all the time, right?
It's crazy to see men speak to me after I speak to them.
Right.
And, I'm like, yeah, I do have a house, right? And they just go, wait. You speak to them like that? I go, yeah. Well, why not? They're like, and you're married? I go, yeah. I go, wow, cool. Hey, awesome. You look good. Hey, cool. I don't have that intent.
I was gonna say there's nothing behind it. Like, you know what I mean? Some dudes will just give a compliment just as an icebreaker, just to try to, strategically. But if you genuinely are a people person and you're like, oh man, that's dope. I like that.
Yeah.
Then
And it's like, oh wow, that's super good, because hopefully you know what you're going to speak about on that. Like, oh shit, that's a cool camera of some sort, or you're like, oh, all that, all the extra stuff with it, and then you just keep going, and then she's like, oh, I kind of like him, or all this kind of stuff. You sit here at Starbucks too and edit? Oh my god.
That's
That's
right.
You go. That's crazy.
Oh my gosh.
Shit. Oh my god. All right.
Yeah.
What would you choose?
Oh, like the barefoot and pregnant or
Well, it's not just barefoot and pregnant. It's
Yeah.
also the guy that you like who has stable income, good money, right? Versus like you're on your own trying to fend for yourself. And then you find a guy that meets you halfway or something like that.
Yeah, no, like 100%. I would rather be at home taking care of kids, doing my thing there.